my name is Emma Stellmach. I'm a student at Brownsburg High School, and this is my technical theater portfolio as I look forward to pursuing higher education and a career in sound design. So for my introduction to theater, I joined a community theater that performed Anne of Green Gables, the musical, at a church. I learned a lot about some basics of theater, but they needed someone to board up for sound, so I stepped up and learned a lot more about mics and basic run-of-the-show kind of sound jobs. Once Upon a Mattress was my second production that I helped design for. It was my first production with my high school, and it was actually held in a middle school due to construction. But it was still my first leadership position in sound, and it was a great opportunity for me to test some of the skills that I learned in the summer prior for Anne of Green Gables. But it was also a great opportunity for me to learn basics of other areas and work with other people like lighting and construction. Much Ado About Nothing was my second production with the high school. I was once again in a leadership position for sound design, and the show was outdoors due to COVID, but this presented a lot of challenges for sound because every day I had to set up all the equipment outdoors and then take it all down at the end of the day after learning how to mix in the area. This was also my first time working with a real design concept because it was my first play. After Much Ado About Nothing, I wanted to try something new, so I stepped into an assistant lighting position for the show Almost Maine. This was the opening of our new auditorium, which led to me learning a lot about the equipment that we already had and new equipment that we had received. This was also an opportunity for me to learn how to program with an ETC Ion. After enjoying lighting for Almost Maine, I took on lighting again for the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. I used a lot of the equipment and programming knowledge that I learned from the previous show and took on a lot more design responsibility. I also worked with spot ops and assisted with integrating video into the show. After learning about lighting design for a while, I knew I wanted to go back to sound design. So for Guys and Dolls, I took on a leadership position for sound design again. And due to what had happened before in the previous shows that I did, I mixed in a church, a middle school, and outside, but I never actually mixed in an auditorium before, which made this show pretty exciting because it was the first time I'd ever actually mixed a musical with a full orchestra in an auditorium like this. I was able to record and program scenes into our soundboard, which made mixing a lot easier. She Kills Monsters was the next production that my high school put on. I took on sound leadership again for this and learned a lot more about Dante networking, and I learned how to work with switches. We had 15 individual outputs integrated into QLab, which made the QLab work a lot more interesting. Overall, there was a 90s concept, which made it kind of fun too because I was able to integrate 90s music into my designs. I've also been heavily involved on stage crew for our competitive show choirs throughout my high school career. Each season, we travel throughout the Midwest and bring a wide variety of technical elements with us to be used at each competition. In addition to helping support the all-student crew, I'm also responsible for running all the lighting and video cues during the performances that include a live band. During the off seasons for stage crew and the theatrical performances, I pretty much work every event that comes through the auditorium. So this includes things like band concerts and orchestra concerts, but some of the bigger events include choir concerts, Dunbar Cafe, and Mr. Bulldog. During these events, I'm oftentimes soundboard op, QLab op, or lightboard op. Wait Until Dark was the first theoretical sound design that I brought to the Indiana State Thespian Conference. I received superior ratings from all of my judges, but it did bring a lot of challenges as I was learning a lot more about who I was as a sound designer independently from the performances and productions that I was used to at the high school. The second theoretical sound design that I created was for the show The Nether. I created 35 original compositions using the Launchpad Pro and Ableton Live. This was a big learning curve because I was making stuff on my own and using new softwares. I received all perfect scores at a state level, as well as the overall Technical Design Award, and was advanced to Nationals. At Nationals, I also received perfect scores and won the Thespie for sound design. My most recent theoretical sound design was for the show The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. I used a variety of different mediums this time to create compositions again, this time using some live recording from a piano with an Audex microphone, and I received all perfect scores again at the state level, as well as the overall Technical Design Award, and again advanced to Nationals. Here you can see a list of some of the awards that I've won, multiple awards from my high school and also when I've competed at the regional, state, and national level. Looking towards the future, I'd love to continue sound design in higher education and a career.